All these big companies, Google's were first, second year in college. Men are a very productive between, nobody knows why, 17, 27. But people suspect men don't multitask the moment they are married. They get confused. So if you can't do it between, can actually do, they are more productive after age 35. The suspicion is that after they have children, they are more creative, which you have a longer time to think through. If you want to do a child or a child or a
that also affects our businesses, and how are there any sectors where people can air these challenges and maybe get assisted in the government?
Yeah, corruption is a major cancer that we have. It's a major cancer we have. I think we have discussed it. We have said this is a country with 80% of the people profess Christianity.
And I would not phrase mine as a question, but I would love to say that you are quite right when you said the next billionaires will be in agriculture, because it's an agricultural country, but so many people despise the farming. Last night I sent a clip to Joki about a young man who is multiplying the black soldier fly, which is producing larvae, which is an animal source of protein. And as we speak, the animal feeds are going through the roof because of the protein sources. And people are going for soya from all the way to India and Zambia. So what I would want to echo is that we must go into manufacturing. Whether we are manufacturing the small lotion for applying on our face, or the small cookies, the ngumu, or we are producing the worms that we can dry and sell as an animal's protein for the feed millers and so on. So again, you mentioned something very critical about how wasteful we are. We are wasting 40% of what we have produced in the farms. If you go to the airport, this road bypass, you find a lot of pickups carrying carrots and meshiris that have been rejected at the airport. And you wonder, this is clean food, good, and is going to the cows. So what we need to do as the youth is innovate, especially in recycling what has been termed as a waste, because even though the person who was making the black soldier flies is using waste blood from slaughterhouses and matumbo and rubbish from the markets. And so for me, it's not, you really helped us to the youth to see a problem, then that should be an opportunity. And so thank you so very much for coming and having time for us. And we will look forward to telling you to bring you again and again. Thank you very much.
I hope next time I come, someone would have made the kichiti ile unatolea nyama kwa inaitwaje ile. We actually import those things, and it's good. The machine is available on Alibaba.com, and you can make millions of those. Then we ask government to have a policy, a protective policy to protect you from importation. Yeah, very simple, cheap. You know, we can go here and buy that machine. You can actually check on it and say. That's how that is. When you're talking about manufacturing, we can begin from huko chini.
One more question from here.
Okay, thank you, Professor. I'm Elizabeth. Mine is just like I just require an elaboration because sometimes we get out of the point. To start with the idea generation, after I generate an idea in my mind, please elaborate to us because you have talked about passion. Am I supposed to go for providing service, or maybe I can decide to open a salon, but I have no qualification of being a salonist? Or can I go for selling a product? Because sometimes if you provide a service and you don't have the professionalism of that service, you might end up not making that business.
No, that is false. The people who succeed most are the people who have no idea about what they're about to do. Mm-hmm. And I said, if you use the model that we talked about, by testing the market, getting the first client and then the second client. For example, the salonist. I want to refer you to something called Pinterest. Pinterest. P-I-T-P-I, Pinterest. Yeah? Kissy. Yeah. Pinterest, and look at hairstyles, how they are done. In fact, they even demonstrate how you do it. You don't need, a lot of people who have succeeded in areas where they didn't have the training, but they had passion to do it. Passion will drive you towards hiring your first person and tell them, while I'm looking at this, can you be doing this? But you're watching, and eventually you become. You don't have to be doing hair to be able to do it.
For that?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So when the idea comes to your head, actually, it is true that God responds to our prayers, but He doesn't wake you up. What is your name?
Elizabeth.
Yeah?
Elizabeth.
He doesn't say, Elizabeth, wake up. Here is my solution. He waits until you are somewhere, driving somewhere, and that idea comes, shoot. Then you don't write it down. Then 2 days later, you are saying, something came to my mind. If you are able to write down an idea, get 3 people, what do you think? Of course, there are some who are negative. If you get more people saying this is a good idea, try to create what you call a minimum viable product by trying it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. The next question is, after we start the business, sometimes we get lost on how to plow back the profits to the business. And along the way, you find you have no money to sustain the business.
Yes.
And now there's still another problem. You are operating a very good business. And if somebody just passes across that business, atasema hii biashara inafanya vizuri. But huyo mtu ukimuitisha pesa hana. We are learning of where to, we don't know how to save and how to, we have that problem.
Your question also is very good in the sense that when a business is growing, it becomes very difficult. It actually becomes difficult, even people who know what to do. Because you need to, as you grow a little bit, you actually need a volunteer to advise you. But I would suggest as you are growing, this is what I responded to him. If, say, you are supplying bananas to Naivas, even if they give you an order for 10 million, don't take it because they take 6 months to pay you. So you would rather take cash paying, even if it is small, then your liquidity is there to help you to go get more. So when you go for bigger things and then the payment is delayed, they stifle you and they kill you, unless you have some free money from somewhere. So when you are a group, you can tell people, if you pay by M-Pesa, I'll give you 100 shillings off. But you know, you are encouraging them to give you cash, because cash flow is the lifeblood of the business. So you don't want to play with it by gambling to, I said, those ones come from various sources. Number one source is the problem. You see the problem and flip it to become an opportunity. Number two, you can get it whenever there is a major policy shift. For example, when we got devolution, there's no local people who invested in counties. Foreigners did. They knew some millionaires have been created there. Java began to move into counties. You saw that. Java, this rest talk, you know. If you see those who are building motels, 3-star hotels, they are not local people because they didn't understand how the opportunity was being created. And of course, demographics have an somewhere and selling, or you are creating designs locally. You don't design for mamas because the percentage of that is so small, it can't give you money. You do designs for younger people, yeah? Instead of bringing jeans that are straight, bring which ones are torn. I've seen some of them here, yeah? That's what would opportunity-based from demographics. There are several other aspects which give you the opportunity. And that's why I said we can, if you are intending to do, we can do a hackathon here. We can come here and say, people with ideas and say we can expand those ideas. We can look at ways of exploiting those opportunities. That's what I was talking about. I don't know whether I have answered your question. Where was the question?
It had been sent, so I think it has been answered. So we have two final questions, and then we wind up. So we have one question from there, and then the other question will be from here.
Thank you. I'm Gashiru Moya. On the topic of innovation, personally, we do have an idea for data collection systems in medicine and medical hospitals and stuff like that. So if we want to present an idea like that, do we first develop a working model on how it will work, or do we come and brainstorm first with experts before we develop the system?
You want to do data collection from medical health sector?
In the health sector?
Yes.
Involving like conjoining all hospitals and having patients, an individual patient having a medical history.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know about data protection law?
No.
You need to read it because you can't collect an individual's data without their permission. But it's a very good idea.
Yeah, but
in that you can work with the government. You can work with the government to provide you that information, and I think they have to have a big say because that's individual data which is protected by the law, which the individual can only give permission for you to access it.
Yeah, but we are developing it in a way that it's like a history of your medical life.
Yes. It's called a digital health wallet.
Yes.
So that if you go to India, for example, your records are there. You go to another doctor, your records. This is, you still have to read the law.
Okay.
Still have to read the law.
And if we pass that stage, is there a point where we are allowed to test it on people?
You are allowed to?
During the test phase, is there a point where we can get people funding so that we can...
Yes, but the government has to agree because you are collecting government data. The government has to, Ministry of Health has to say we are working. They can't just give it to you. The issue of data protection has become so big now.
another question. At what point in running a business do you like throw in the towel because you've pumped in money?
When do you have to go? Go listen to the gambler, but you can feel it. You can feel it. But sometimes you can give up when you are just about to succeed, and another person comes and succeeds. That's why I cannot give you that the cutoff date is here. No. Yeah. You can feel it. You can. I don't know how to answer that. Intuition. She knows English better than me. Yeah. So, but I want to challenge you so that I have reason to come again. If you come together and do a Ruai market center, it's very easy to do it. A Ruai market online, so that if he has tomatoes, he puts them on the market. If she has chicken, she puts them in the market. And without going to the kiosks, you can order directly and you create a logistics company to pick from her and bring to you by simply selling to one another. In a year, you will be covering Nairobi. Did you get it? You've gotten it. You create a marketplace where the people of Ruai, whatever they are selling, they put it on the marketplace. So that if you are looking for kienyeji chicken, you don't have to drive around looking for kienyeji, but you can go to the marketplace, pick it up, boda drops it. In 1 month, you would change the whole region from the community. It's called a community enterprise. And it would grow. Somebody wants to change the furniture from the house and buy a new one, I have these chairs, and you find another one buying it. You get my point now. But it's just a platform. We created Marketplace Kenya to help people, the whole country. But you could create the Ruai Marketplace, which goes outside. And then I can add something later when I come. Thank you. Yeah.
The final question from this side.
Yes.
Sleep. My question was on online investments.
Yes.
What is your stand on online investments?
I can see you. I was looking for it. Like what?
Let's say there's a company which you have to buy an account, e.g. to make someone famous by liking and commenting on their videos. So you buy an account, then when you like and comment on there are several videos. When you like and comment on them, you earn some money, then you can withdraw the money after. What is your stance on it?
Don't go into multi-level. But if you create the content, if you see this, the old church, you can actually use it for use to create content and begin to develop. You saw last week's paper, most influencers earning 200,000-300,000 a month. Did anybody read that? You didn't read that. You see now, but she read it. I want her to comment on that. But also some can do dance, some can do whatever. That place can earn millions of dollars into this by simply exploiting the youth. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't look at multi-level marketing that someone pays you for one thing or something. For content to earn you money, it is the number of views that you get paid, isn't it? From even YouTube, even from actually promoters would begin. I'm sure you can all see. You see the success. Called the Rwandese thing is called what? Christ ambassadors, something Christ. They have 11 million views and almost 2 million subscriptions. So you can't miss an idea. If you wanted to say Canaan Church is doing this with the youth, you cannot miss an idea. But what you are saying looks like multi-level. I don't know. Maybe I didn't get it correctly. You said you send and what?
No, actually, let's say like my friend is Kimani. He has a YouTube account.
He has a what? A YouTube account?
YouTube account,
Yes.
let's say a YouTube or leads.
Oh.
To like his video and comment on it so that...
To raise the numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
Wachana na hiyo. Wachana na hiyo. We are in the church now. That is trying to fool advertisers that this is popular by his own right.
My question was generating to was on how to buy shares on a developing company. How will you know that?
If say, for example, you develop the proposal I have given you, and we get a VC to fund it, that's a long-term investment. It will give you money as long as it's viable. So I don't think there is something you call short-term unless you are a Shylock, which is short-term. Nikupe 10,000, you give me 15,000. That's short-term. It's sometimes not sustainable to do short-term investment and get good returns. So you look at a longer term and grow a sustainable enterprise. I don't know whether I've answered your question.
Or now to how will you identify the long-term investment, the long-term enterprise?
It's an idea that would grow. We call it scale, that you can scale it. If an idea is not scalable, then it has a problem. Then I will tell you that I would not invest in this if it is not scalable. But what I told you, if it succeeded in Rwai, it would go to Mihango, it would go to Buruburu, it would go to, Karen. That's a scalable enterprise, which is sustainable, which will be long term.
Nice. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you for that. We have one final question. I think Njoki is in a position to answer that for us as she winds up the session.
Okay, so I will answer this question in one part, and then I will also hand over to Prof. So we have a question here from Elder Patrick Kamengere. He's asking, after implementing all these ideas and success comes and the ego grows, how have you managed to maintain your humility? Let's start with you, Prof.
By drinking uji every morning. Yeah, I don't see any of being who I'm not. I mean, I don't know, but I tend to do what is practical. Yeah. I don't know whether I've answered correctly.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. And I also think it also has to do with remaining true to yourself.
True to yourself, yeah.
Be grounded. Remember where you came from. Never forget
it's good
where you
when
came
someone
from.
knows English. I was trying to find that word to remain true to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to take this opportunity, Prof. We want to respect your time. We know you have a hard stop at 12:30. I want to take this opportunity to thank you. There's a young person called Jeff who's going to come and give the vote of thanks. So this is not the vote of thanks. I would just want to thank you as I usher you back to your seat. And maybe we can take the next 1 minute to talk about the Arise Mentorship Program, because I'm getting a lot of inquiries about what goes beyond this. And also, I have some good news for the rest of the team. Thank you very much. So I'm very humbled that Prof managed to take, I think, about 3 hours of his time to just speak to young people. And let me take an opportunity to talk about the Arise Mentorship Program. Now, this is just one component of what we are going to be doing. This is what you call the Thought Leadership Speaker Series. So we are getting thought leaders like Professor Ndemo to come and give their views about various aspects of life like entrepreneurship, personal and professional development, and leadership. Now, what Professor Ndemo did in Kenya and Africa can leverage on business and entrepreneurship. We want to link you up with people, volunteers, and this is my personal call to volunteers. This is your time to give back to society. If you have ever thought about giving back to the next generation, this is the opportunity. This is a fully volunteer-based engagement. We are not paying, we are not receiving any funding. The only support we receive is for mentors to come on board and tell me, Njoki, I am a doctor, I am a businessman, and I would like 2 young people to mentor. And if you're interested, please ensure that you have registered your name and all your details, mobile number and email. We will be reaching out to you. Now, the good news that I was talking about is that we have received some phone calls, and it has been said that what we are talking about here can never be exhausted in an entire afternoon. And because we respect your time and we respect everyone else's time, including those who are watching us, we have a request that if we can do this again in the near future, probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks, your diary allowing, Professor, then maybe we can escalate this conversation and elevate this conversation to talk about more deeply about entrepreneurship, opportunities, technology, opportunities, and this era called the 4th Industrial Revolution. Since you said that the world changed from 2018. We want to understand how did the world change and how can these young people who are watching us from the Presbyterian Church of East Africa and beyond, how they can leverage on those opportunities. And I also want to have a conversation with you about that hackathon. I think it's time for us to have our first hackathon. So there being no other questions, I would like to invite Youth Representative Jeff Gadara to come and give his final remarks as we conclude in the next 1 minute. Jeff?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. As you've heard, my name is Jeff Gadara. I am a former parish official that we are all here. And he has given us the breath of life for us to be here. Second of all, I'd like to thank you, Professor, for spending your time and your effort. Just being here is amazing to us, especially now that this church had been dedicated 2 weeks ago. And you being here is a great milestone to what is about to come. And it's truly inspiring that one of us has taken up the step, mentors, even as we grow. We do realize we need mentorship in a large scale and in a small scale, and we thank you. Thirdly, I would like to thank the CAC TV, and I've forgotten the name. We'd like to thank you for allowing us to be here, for airing this opportunity. We can't take it for granted. We truly thank you from the deepest part of our hearts, and we thank you. The fourth of all, we'd like to thank the PCA Roy Central Parish leadership for hosting us this afternoon. And lastly, I would like to thank all of us for being here. This event will not have been possible without you. And we'd like to thank you for showing up in numbers. We had initially estimated a number of 50, but we have truly superseded all that. And thank you so much. And we pray that even as you go back home, you go back with the blessings of God. And even as we await for the next program, we truly call you on, and we hope for you to be here. Finally, I'd like to thank those who prepared this place for this event. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have these mics and this place being generally available for us. And we pray that wherever you may be, you may not be amongst this forum. We pray that wherever you are, God blesses you and protects you. And with that, I'll...
Okay, thank you. Our MC was read us very well. Can we also appreciate him with a big clap? Thank you so much. I don't know whether you are as happy as I am. And I'm just wishing this one started yesterday. But this is the height. We've hands and just clap to the Lord and say thank you. And just appreciate what he has done. He has done so much that he cannot tell it all. He has done so much for me that I cannot tell it all. I cannot tell